Congresswoman Ashley Hinson, thank you so much for making time to talk about your campaign for U.S. Senate.
Of course, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be able to continue to represent Iowans.
Okay, so you're currently, you represent District 2 in Northeast Iowa, and you wanted to run for Senate. So take us through that decision. Why did you decide to go from the House to the Senate?
Yep. Well, first of all, let me say that I'm a proud minivan driving mom, a proud Iowan, wife to Matt, and really excited to step up and take on this opportunity of serving Iowans in the United States Senate. I have a proven track record of delivering in my congressional district, working across the aisle on solutions that help everyday Iowans, and I look forward to taking that success statewide now and making sure I'm continuing to tell Iowan stories in Washington, D.C. When I stepped up to run the first time, it was because I knew we needed to respect taxpayers, make sure that rural America had a seat at the table, and that we were keeping our communities safe and secure. And so I understand those priorities because I've driven my minivan all over the state, hearing directly from Iowans, and I know what needs to be done to help make life more affordable and better for everyone. And so that's what went through my mind when I decided to step up and run for the United States Senate. I look forward to continuing to tell Iowan stories and solve their problems, and that's what drives me every day.
So you mentioned affordability. What are your top priorities if elected?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, Iowa has a lot of agriculture. We need to make sure we're standing up for our farmers and making life more affordable for them. Input costs have gone up, yields are high, prices are low, and that's not a good environment for our farmers. So we need to do everything we can to continue to provide markets for them and drive down those input costs. So I'm supportive of the president's efforts to secure new trade deals, while at the same time working simultaneously to help pass policies like E15, which has now passed the House. We need to get that across the line in the Senate so that we provide real relief to our farmers and the certainty that they need. It's time that we get that done. And then you talk about everyday Iowans and the challenges they're facing, whether it's energy costs, healthcare costs, childcare costs. All of those costs are too high. And so I'm working on policies that help to get government out of the way, get the big regulations out of the way, and drive down those costs for everyone. And that's what I look forward to continuing my work on.
So you mentioned E15. You and your colleagues voted yesterday to get that passed in the House. So just take me through your first reaction to getting that passed, and also tell us a little bit about the behind the scenes and what took so long to get the bill to this point.
Yeah, well, if I physically could do a backflip, I think I would have done it last night on the floor, getting that bill passed. I mean, it's incredible to see that momentum and come off the floor in such a bipartisan way, supporting E15 and making sure we're reeling in some of the bad actors in the space of the small refineries as well. You know, I think energy security is national security, and this is, like I said, certainty for our Iowa farmers, but also a very pro-America energy policy. And this is a long time coming. This is something I've been advocating for probably 10 years plus, and I know it's really, really important, a critical market access point, a market, not a mandate, and that's what we've been saying. Iowans have saved collectively, I think over the last 10 years, more than $120 million in fuel costs just by having access to E15 over E10. So I look at that and taking that nationwide year-round, and that can provide, again, real relief for consumers at the pump as well, so we can get those gas prices down and provide another consumer choice. So it was a battle to get here, to build the consensus. Our entire Iowa delegation was locked arms to make sure we stood up to leadership, which we're not afraid to do on issues that are really important for Iowa. And we were able to secure the commitment for the vote. And then we worked really hard to get a lot of our colleagues on both sides of the aisle to support the policy. So again, we got that across the finish line. Couple that with the farm bill that we passed a few weeks ago. Those are really, really strong policies for Iowa agriculture, and we look forward to continuing our work to get them across the finish line in the Senate.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier some of the difficulties that farmers are facing right now. This is a difficult time, high input costs, uncertain markets. What is some of the work that you did that you can point to helping Iowans?
Yeah. Well, certainly, of course, market access point in E15, that's critical to move that ball forward. But I'm doing work to make sure we're actually lowering our fertilizer costs. Transparency is one of the best methods of lowering those costs. And we've had some bad actors in the space. So I've co-sponsored legislation that would help make weekly reporting on the pricing, the standards. So you talk about some of these bad actors, they wouldn't be able to control the markets and put their thumb on the scale, which has just driven costs higher for our farmers. Another place is in the countervailing duties space. So there are some duties that are placed on fertilizer inputs. Again, if we can reduce those costs for our farmers, I've co-sponsored legislation to do that. And I'm actively working with USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins to make sure we're making investments in domestic manufacturing as well, because it's one thing to be able to import what we need. It's another to be able to produce it ourselves and drive down those costs. So whether it's the supply chain or some of these other hidden costs, I'm working hard every day to make sure we're standing up for Iowa agriculture.
Yeah, and I also just wanted to ask you about soybean farmers as well. Last export season, they had a difficult time with the tariffs. China wasn't purchasing soybeans from the United States, and so Iowa soybean farmers had some difficulties there. The president is right now in China. Do you feel like maybe this year we've turned a page on that, and they might have a different export reality this year?
Yeah. Well, I'm certainly pleased that President Trump is keeping agriculture at the forefront of his discussions with President Xi on this trip to China. Look, it's absolutely critical. Our farmers want markets, not checks, right? They want to make sure that they can grow their product, that they know how to do better than anyone, and then sell it around the world. And so we need to do everything we can to make sure that market access is protected and expanded. And so I count on President Trump he's the art of the deal. He understands that, and he's going to make sure that we get a good deal for American agriculture with China. We also need to reauthorize USMCA and continue our work around the world with our U.S. trade rep to make sure we're securing additional new trade deals. There were no new trade deals under President Biden, and under President Trump, we've got more than a dozen already and more in the works. And so I'm excited to see this movement to help support American agriculture, American manufacturing, and then in turn, American jobs and American opportunity.
Let's turn quickly to healthcare. There are a lot of clinics and hospitals that are closing across rural Iowa. What do you think should be done to help?
Yeah. Well, I've worked hard to make sure we're making key investments in rural healthcare while still making sure we're respecting taxpayers in the process. And I think that's what Iowans expect. They want to make sure that access is available no matter their zip code, but that access is affordable and respects taxpayers. So I've secured investments in rural healthcare. So I think we all share the goal of having more healthy moms and healthy babies. So I was able to get some money to help Grinnell Medical Center expand their labor and delivery unit. Same with West Union, surgical suites in Decorah to make sure that they can expand and provide those services to Iowans as well. So I have a proven record of delivering there, standing up for rural healthcare as well as healthcare in our cities. So we want to make sure that Iowans have access to affordable healthcare. And frankly, it is too expensive. I think Affordable Care Act is a misnamed priority there. It's the Unaffordable Care Act, and we need to do more to expand healthcare association options so that we can lower the cost, increase competition, and again, make sure access exists no matter what your zip code is.
On immigration, do you support the Trump administration's policies?
Well, we need to make sure we're actually enforcing our immigration laws on the books. Under the Biden administration, we saw millions upon millions of illegal immigrants flow into our communities, many of them really dangerous cartel members that are actively operating in our communities, not just in Iowa, but around the country. We need to do everything we can to deport these dangerous illegals. And so I support the president's efforts there to make sure we're doing that and following through on that campaign promise. Since the president took office and since we've had control of Congress, those border crossings at our southern border have gone down to zero. So now it's up to us to make sure we're tracking down these dangerous illegals, people who are running drugs, running human trafficking rings, who are running illegal biolabs. We've discovered several who have come in across the border illegally from China, for example, that we know they don't have our best interests in mind, right? They're harboring these dangerous diseases in their biolabs. We need to do everything we can to, again, enforce immigration laws on the books and deport these dangerous illegals.
Something we hear a lot about in the Senate is the filibuster. We just had the longest government shutdown last year and the longest partial government shutdown this year. Do you feel like there are reforms that need to be had, or do you think that the system is fine the way that it is?
Yeah. Look, in the House, I've worked hard to make sure we have regular order and that we're actually passing our appropriations bills. And I look forward to continuing that good work in the Senate because my approach has always been I will work with anyone to get things across the finish line if they're good for Iowa. And I have a record of delivering on that. I came into Congress in the minority, serving under Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Joe Biden. We were still able to get many of Iowa's priorities passed. And so I've proven that I'm someone who's willing to work across the aisle to advance things and move the ball forward in the right way. So I look forward to carrying that attitude to the Senate, and I'm hopeful that we're able to continue to move forward and not end up in another situation where we have a government shutdown, because that's not good for anyone.
And your Republican opponent has criticized you for not being conservative enough. Do you have a response to that?
Look, I have President Trump's endorsement. I look forward to winning this primary and beating whatever Democrat comes out of the primary in June. I think that it's really important. People look at my record. I have a strong record of, again, delivering for taxpayers, supporting conservative policies, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the right to life, and making sure that I'm doing that in a common sense way. That's what Iowans expect. And frankly, that's what Americans expect. And I think I bring that to the table, and I'm a strong candidate and will be the next United States Senator from Iowa.
And in 30 seconds or less, why should Iowans vote for you and not your opponent?
Yeah. Well, I would humbly ask for Iowans to support me because I'm a minivan driving mom to two teenage boys. I understand and look forward to continuing to tell your stories of what you're facing in Washington, D.C. I've converted those stories into action, introducing legislation to help solve child care access issues, health care access issues, and again, supporting American agriculture and our Iowa farmers and producers. So I look forward to continuing to serve you in the United States Senate, and I humbly ask for your support.
Congresswoman Ashley Hinson, thank you so much for taking time today.
Thank you for having me.